You can hear all my audiobooks, including those not shared on YouTube, by following the links below at Gumroad and Patreon. Thank you for your support. The Governance of China, Volume 4, by Xi Jinping. Part 16, Development and Security. Pursue a holistic approach to national security. Main points of the speech at the 26th Group Study Session of the Political Bureau of the 19th CPC Central Committee, December 11, 2020. National security, a key area for the party's governance of China, is extremely important in ensuring prosperity and peace. To guarantee national security in the new era, we must pursue a holistic approach, seize the development opportunities presented during this strategic period, and make good use of them. We must guarantee national security in all respects through all the work of the party and the country, and to take it into consideration together with social and economic development in our planning and dispositions. We will persevere with systems thinking to establish a complete security architecture and promote international security and world peace, so as to ensure success in building a modern socialist country. The recommendations of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China for formulating the 14th Five-Year Plan for Economic and Social Development and Long-Range Objectives through the year 2035 were adopted at the 5th Plenary Session of the 19th CPC Central Committee on October 29, 2020. This was the first time that coordinating development and national security had been incorporated in the guiding principles for economic and social development during the 14th Five-Year Plan period, 2021 to 2025. A chapter in the recommendations is devoted to relevant strategies and plans highlighting the significance of national security in the overall work of the party and the country. This is the logical outcome of China's stage of development and the situation and tasks it faces in safeguarding national security. Our party was established at a time when the nation was beset by domestic crises and exposed to multiple threats and foreign aggression, so it knows only too well the importance of national security. Since the founding of the PRC in 1949, the Central Committee has attached great importance to the country's development and security, and safeguarding national security has always been one of its main concerns. Since the 18th National Congress of the party in 2012, the Central Committee has strengthened its centralized unified leadership over national security. It has incorporated a holistic approach to national security into the basic policy that underpins our endeavors to uphold and develop socialism with Chinese characteristics, and made major decisions and plans in this area from an overall and strategic perspective. The central leadership has improved top-level design for national security, policies in key areas, and relevant laws and regulations, and by doing so has effectively addressed major risks and challenges and brought stability to the country's security. I would like to make the following 10 points on how to implement the holistic approach to national security. First, we must uphold the party's absolute leadership and the Central Committee's centralized unified leadership over national security. With overall planning and effective coordination, we must ensure the party's leadership in all areas of work relating to national security and urge party committees and party leadership groups at all levels to fulfill their responsibilities in this area. Second, we must follow a path with Chinese features and pursue a holistic approach to national security. We consider political security, the people's security, and the supremacy of national interests as three essential elements of an indivisible whole. The people's security, political security, and economic security are of great importance in maintaining national security. We will safeguard Chinese sovereignty and territorial integrity, guard against and diffuse major security risks, and provide strong safeguards for realizing our national rejuvenation. Third, we must take the people's security as our purpose. Everything we do to maintain national security is for the people and supported by the people. We should make the best use of people's enthusiasm and creativity to safeguard their security rights and interests. We should always regard the people as the fundamental force for national security, and will pool all the strengths and resources across the country to ensure it. Fourth, we must consider development and security as of equal importance, and work to achieve mutually beneficial interaction between high-quality development and high-level security. We will improve our ability to maintain national security through development and at the same time try to create a safe environment conducive to social and economic development through innovations in the approach, mechanisms, and methods for ensuring national security. Taking greater account of security factors in pursuing development, we will try to achieve a dynamic balance and increase our capacity to perform our duties for national security. Fifth, we must assign the highest priority to political security. This means that we must ensure the security of our state power and political system and carry out all relevant work more proactively. Sixth, we must promote security in all areas and respond to conventional and non-conventional challenges in a coordinated manner. We will coordinate national security activities and make good use of relevant policy tools. Seventh, we must highlight the prevention and resolution of national security risks and reinforce our ability to anticipate risks so as to nip in the bud any latent danger that may cause a major threat. Eighth, we must continue to promote global security for all, upholding the principles of cooperation, innovation, the rule of law, and win-win results. We will contribute our part to the international endeavor to adopt a global vision of common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security. We will strengthen international security cooperation and improve the global security governance system so as to build a global community of shared future marked by universal security. Ninth, we must continue to modernize our systems and capacity for maintaining national security. Supported by reform and innovation, we will bear in mind the rule of law and set up a well-conceived, well-developed, procedure-based, and effective framework of systems for maintaining national security. We need to increase our ability to apply science and technology in safeguarding national security, as well as our ability to create positive momentum. 10th, we must strengthen our national security teams and party leadership in this field and make them an invincible force with strong political commitment. Develop China on more secure and reliable foundations, part of the speech at the Central Conference on Economic Work. December 16, 2020. While taking a holistic approach to the domestic and international situation and coordinating epidemic response and economic and social development, we have gained a deeper understanding of how to grow the economy in the face of severe challenges and have summed up the factors contributing to our achievements as follows. First, the authority of the CPC Central Committee is the fundamental guarantee for the whole party and all the people in overcoming difficulties at critical moments. Our national realities and the system of socialism with Chinese characteristics determine that in order to achieve our goals and to meet the challenges on our way forward, we must uphold the centralized, unified leadership of the party and the authority of its Central Committee. Past experience shows clearly that at critical historical junctures or in the face of major tests, the ability to lead is the most important factor, while the Central Committee's capacity to conduct assessments, make decisions, and take action plays a key role. As long as we uphold the leadership of the party and the authority of its Central Committee and unite the people closely around the party, we will be able to move forward against all hardships and obstacles. Second, putting the people first is the fundamental prerequisite for us to make correct decisions to address this most serious crisis. The party maintains its stance, which determines the direction and order of its action. Our party represents the fundamental interests of the people and is committed to serving the public good and exercising power in the interests of the people. Since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, we have assigned high priority to people and their lives and defined the optimal process: first, control the epidemic spread, then resume work in some areas, and finally, return to normal across the country. Experience has proved once again that we can make correct decisions and overcome all difficulties, as long as we put the people at the center of our concerns, regard their interests as the top priority, and always rely on their support. Third, institutional strength provides a fundamental guarantee for us to unite to overcome difficulties and remove obstacles. Success comes to those who share in one purpose. In the face of major disasters and crises, we have shown no fear and have united as one. We have brought into full play the political strengths of party leadership and the socialist system. We can mobilize and coordinate resources from all regions, departments, sectors, and fields, forming a level of synergy that has enabled us to overcome all these difficulties. Experience has proved once again that we can unite the whole party and all the people into a strong force to overcome difficulties and advance our cause. As long as we maintain confidence in China's socialist path, theory, systems, and culture, and take advantage of our great political strength, the ability to mobilize resources, and complete major missions. Fourth, rational decision-making and creativity are the essential means to turn crisis into opportunity. Extraordinary measures are needed to respond to extraordinary challenges. The present crisis, unlike the Great Depression of 1929 or the global financial crisis of 2008, is marked by the coincidence of supply disruption and falling demand, posing unprecedented challenges. Combining design of strategies with application of tactics, we have adopted both economic and social policies, stimulated supply and demand, leveraged our complete industrial system, increased material supply, and carried out cross-cyclical planning and counter-cyclical regulation, thus maximizing the results at a reasonable cost. Experience has proved once again that we can create opportunities and remain invincible in our response to major risks. As long as we correctly understand and effectively respond to the situation, take action to make changes, bear in mind the general picture in making decisions, and implement them just as the arms employ the fingers without any difficulty. Fifth, strength and self-reliance in science and technology are the fundamental support for development in our response to COVID-19, to changes in the external economic environment, and to pressure from foreign forces. We have paid more attention to the important role of science and technology. To protect people's lives and health, we have applied science in preventing and controlling the spread of the virus and treating the disease. We have ensured the smooth functioning of industrial and supply chains through technological innovation. And we have made rapid breakthroughs in core technologies to clear bottlenecks in order to ensure economic security and promote high-quality development. Experience has proved, once again, that we can build more secure and reliable foundations for our country's development as long as we develop a scientific mindset, follow the laws of science, and carry forward independent innovation. Keep food security in our own hands. Part of the speech at the Central Conference on Rural Work, December 28, 2020. Grain sustains life and is vital to the nation. Footnote 1. Jia Si Xie, Important Arts for the People's Welfare. Jia Si Xie, dates unknown, was an agronomist in the Northern Wei dynasty, 386 to 534. End of footnote 1. I have often said that adjusting the food supply is a tactical move while ensuring food security is of strategic importance, a point amply illustrated by the huge role that the abundant supply of food and key agro-products played in the response to COVID-19 this year. The tight balance between grain supply and demand in our country has not changed. And as we are setting out to address structural problems, the problem of insufficient grain supply has become prominent again. As the demand for food will continue to increase in the years to come, the pressure on food supply will grow accordingly. At the same time, in view of the complex and disturbing international situation, we cannot relax for a moment in ensuring food security. We would rather produce and store more food, as the pressure of having too much food is entirely different from that of not having enough. We should never relax our efforts in grain production, and we should make sure that grain acreage and output do not decrease and that supply and market problems do not occur. As an ancient statement said, without farming, no food can be produced, and without arable land, no crops can grow. Footnote 2. Guangzi. End of footnote 2. Arable land is the lifeblood of food production. As early as 2013, I said that arable land must be protected in the same way as giant pandas, and that the total area of China's farmland must stay above the red line of 120 million hectares. Over the years, I have given instructions to remove residences and non-agricultural commercial facilities illegally built on cultivated land and curb the use of cultivated land for purposes other than farming and for non-grain production. Relevant departments have introduced a set of targeted and coordinated policies and measures. However, arable land abuses have persisted. For example, basic cropland in some places has been used for afforestation or ornamental lakes, and green belts, dozens or even hundreds of meters wide, have been created on fertile land along roads, railways, and canals in some other places. We do have a lot of land, but it is a scarce resource compared with the needs of 1.4 billion people. Land is needed for building cities, developing industries, and introducing eco-environmental projects, and this requires careful planning and use of land against properly defined criteria. We must not engage in afforestation of cultivated land or go against the laws of nature. All provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities must maintain their existing farmland for food production and cannot reduce it any further. In addition to ensuring the quantity of arable land, we also need to improve its quality. The cultivation of high-standard farmland is an important measure that should be taken consistently in order to improve farmland standard and quality and achieve high and stable yields even in times of drought or flood. We must have the determination to do so and should not cut corners on the budget required. We should attach great importance to the conservation of Chernozem soil, maintain it, and make good use of it. We must apply the strictest and most effective system to protect cultivated land, for which we must adopt compulsory measures with real teeth. Those who fail to carry out orders, who engage in or continue with expressly prohibited acts, or who fail in their duties must be investigated and held accountable. The amount of cultivated land is limited, so the fundamental route to destabilizing and increasing production lies in science and technology. A new round of scientific and technological revolution in agriculture, characterized by biotechnology and information technology, is generating major breakthroughs, and all countries are trying to gain an edge in this revolution. As a large agricultural country, we must not lag behind. Instead, we should be more self-reliant in agricultural science and technology and master core technologies as soon as possible. After much reflection, I think one point must be made clear. Seeds are the foundation of modern agriculture. I highlighted this point at the recent Central Conference on Economic Work. Even if we have all kinds of sophisticated equipment and favorable conditions, it is still difficult to achieve agricultural modernization without good seeds. The question of quality seeds for crops like soybeans has been a problem for years, and progress has not been satisfactory. We need to have the drive to break technological bottlenecks, know the direction and goals full well, speed up the implementation of major biological breeding projects, and bring seed resources for major agro products under our own control as early as possible. Relevant departments should accelerate the R&D and application of biological breeding, conditional on strict supervision and risk control. We need to bring science and technology faster to villages and households, making full use of both public services from the government and market services. We will use modern information technologies such as the Internet of Things and big data to develop smart agriculture. At the same time, we will speed up efforts to remedy our weak links in modern agricultural equipment, such as drying and storage equipment, cold chain preservation facilities, and agricultural machinery. In particular, we will increase our independent R&D capacity for important agricultural equipment and improve the animal and plant quarantine system as well as the disaster prevention and mitigation system. The key to incentivizing farmers to grow grain is to make sure they get a return from their effort. In recent years, the cost of growing grain has increased while the cost effectiveness has been low, and farmers in many places have even suffered losses. In this context, we should stabilize and increase subsidies for grain producers, increase our capacity for adjusting grain purchase and storage, improve the minimum purchase price policy, and expand the scope of insurance programs covering total production costs and incomes. One of the weak points in grain production is high costs. The solution is to develop new operating models for agriculture, fostering family farms and farmers' cooperatives, developing agricultural operations on an appropriate scale, and improving specialized and commercial services to handle tasks that are not cost-effective or feasible for a single household. Training farmers in production skills and management should also be strengthened to modernize management. Party committees and governments at all levels should assume political responsibility for food security. In recent years, China's grain production has been significantly concentrated in major producing areas, which makes sense, but excessive concentration also brings risks. If everyone everywhere only wants to eat grain and meat and does not want to grow grain or raise hogs, then who will guarantee the supply? Food should not be treated only as a commodity. It is wrong to focus only on immediate economic gains or losses and ignore the political and long-term interests of the country as a whole. All areas, whether major producers, major markets, or regions with balanced production and consumption, must ensure adequate acreage and output for food production. And they should jointly shoulder the responsibility for food security, as it is a major issue concerning fundamental national interests. Party and government officials should both be accountable for food security. For instance, the governor and the party secretary of a province are jointly responsible for the rice bag of their province. Over the years, major grain-producing provinces, cities, and counties have made an important contribution to our food security, which should be commended. For this reason, we will improve the mechanism for compensating major grain-producing areas, increasing rewards and subsidies, and ensure that those who value agriculture and grain production do not suffer economic losses. The food consumption patterns of urban and rural residents are constantly moving up market. In the future, the supply of agro-products should be guaranteed not only in quantity but also in variety and quality. Supply-side structural reform in agriculture should aim to foster superior varieties, improve quality, build brands, and a standardized production. We should continue to support the recovery and the steady development of hog production. We should make well-thought-out plans for the production of bulk agro-products such as soybeans, cotton, corn, and wheat as soon as possible, and expand the output where necessary. This is a matter of national security, and we must not let others hold us in check. We should make the best use of agricultural trade, but the key is to control risks, have alternative products and solutions, and prepare contingency plans. We should implement the strategy of diversifying agricultural imports, support enterprises in going global, improve their control over key logistic nodes, and make supply chains more resilient to risk. To ensure food security, we must conduct in-depth research into farm produce item by item, formulate plans, and implement them for each and every product. There has been good progress recently in the fight against food waste. We must continue this battle for a long time to come and encourage the whole of society to practice frugality. Build a strong national shield against biosecurity threats. Main points of the speech at the 33rd Group Study Session of the Political Bureau of the 19th CPC Central Committee, September 29, 2021. Biosecurity is vital to the lives and health of our people, to the long-term peace and order of our country, and to the future of the Chinese nation. It is an essential component of overall national security that might affect and even reshape the global landscape. Therefore, we must fully recognize the significance and urgency of strengthening biosecurity management. We should adopt a holistic approach to national security, enforce the biosecurity law, and coordinate and develop security. Following the principles of people first, risk prevention, category-based management, and coordination, we will take stronger measures to prevent and curb biosecurity risks, improve the system and capacity for national biosecurity governance, and build a strong and effective national shield against biosecurity threats. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, The central leadership has prioritized biosecurity management on its agenda and included it in the National Security Strategy. The biosecurity law has been promulgated and implemented. Policies and strategies on national biosecurity have been developed, and systems and mechanisms for biosecurity management have been improved. The central leadership has actively responded to major biosecurity risks and strengthened efforts to better protect and utilize biological resources. It has mobilized the entire party, country, and society to wage a people's war against the COVID-19 epidemic. Our early awareness and preemptive capability against biothreats have improved. Our foundations for safeguarding biosecurity have been constantly reinforced, and our efforts to ensure biosecurity have yielded results of historic significance. Today, due to the overlap of traditional problems and new risks concerning biosecurity, together with the presence of overseas biothreats combined with domestic risk, new facets of biosecurity protection are becoming apparent. In addition, there are shortcomings and weaknesses in our risk management and governance system against biothreats. This requires that we conduct a science-based analysis of the situation, accurately identify the risks and challenges we face, adopt a right approach to stronger biosecurity management, and apply corresponding measures. We should reinforce the national biosecurity governance system by planning and conducting strategic and forward-looking studies and by improving the nation's biosecurity strategy. Refinements should be made to the governance mechanism under which party committees exercise leadership, governments assume responsibility, non-governmental actors provide assistance, the public are involved, and legal support is in place, and to the mechanism for coordinating biosecurity-related activities at all levels. We will make an all-out effort to improve legislation, law enforcement, judicature, legal education, and observance of the law. This means we need to improve the legal system and institutional guarantees, carry out a public education program on relevant laws and regulations as well as the basics of biosecurity, and raise public awareness of biosecurity risks. The grassroots foundations will be reinforced to create a prevention and control mechanism involving governments at all levels and the whole of society. We should strengthen systematic governance and whole process prevention and control by adopting systems thinking, taking science-based measures, making comprehensive plans, and ensuring whole process management. We need to build a sound network and a solid system for risk monitoring and early warning, with a focus on building monitoring facilities at the grassroots and strengthening their ability to identify risks. Potential threats from new and unexpected infectious diseases, outbreaks of serious diseases in plants and animals, drugs, resistance of microorganisms, and the impact of biotechnology on the environment should be detected and identified at an early stage, thus enabling a timely warning and response. We will establish sound contingency plans for biosecurity emergencies to improve the rapid response mechanism and expand the reserve of emergency supply and industrial capacity. We will take proactive measures to prevent and control animal diseases in order to cut down the transmission of zoonosis at the start. To achieve more targeted and effective prevention of animal and plant diseases, we need to ensure proper functioning of grassroots prevention and control mechanisms, clarify the functions of relevant institutions, and improve their professional competence. We should focus on the sectors most exposed to biosecurity risks and remain alert to worst-case scenarios and potential risks. It is important to strengthen oversight of biological resource security and devise a catalog of biological and human genetic resources and keep it up to date. To ensure our borders and passes are defended well, we should adopt stricter border quarantine measures, analyze potential risks, and punish all violations. We should accurately identify inbound biohazards that have caused serious harm in our country and take targeted measures to eliminate them one by one. We must strengthen biosecurity management of pathogenic microorganism laboratories, requiring them to strictly follow all relevant standards and norms, and to strictly manage samples, animals, and waste associated with related experiments. Management must be intensified over the use and residues of antimicrobial drugs. We should accelerate innovation and industrial application of biotechnology for greater self-reliance in biosecurity-related science and technology, and strengthen our scientific and technological capabilities to implement the National Biosecurity Strategy. We should improve the mechanism for key scientific research projects, strictly oversee the research, development, and application of biotechnology, and strengthen management of biological laboratories. We should carry out strict ethical reviews of research projects and provide ethical education to scientists. To ensure sound development of biotechnology, we will encourage industrial application of biobreeding and biopharmaceutical technologies in an orderly manner on the precondition that science is respected, strict oversight is in place, laws and regulations are observed, and safety is guaranteed. Useful traditional concepts should be integrated into modern biotechnology, and traditional Chinese medicine be combined with Western medicine. We should popularize the technologies and models of biological and eco-friendly pest and disease control, and regulate the use of antibiotic medicines so as to promote harmonious coexistence between humanity and nature. We should actively participate in global biosecurity governance. China will work with the international community to address mounting challenges in this area and reinforce bilateral and multilateral cooperation and exchanges in policymaking, risk assessment, emergency response, information sharing, and capacity building. We will ensure the smooth hosting of the 15th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity and facilitate the formulation of the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, offering Chinese ideas and approaches to the international community. We advocate origin tracing of the novel coronavirus based on scientific principles and rules. Strengthening our biosecurity management will be a long and arduous task requiring constant and concrete efforts. Party committees, party leadership groups, and governments at all levels must effectively align their thinking and actions with the decisions and plans of the central party leadership. They must ensure accountability for biosecurity and fulfill their responsibilities and missions with dedication. We will increase investment, improve relevant policies and measures, and guarantee the functioning of key elements so that we will achieve tangible results, build a modern risk management and governance system, and keep the biosecurity of our country firmly in our own hands. We must persevere in the fight against COVID-19, remaining vigilant, avoiding slackening our efforts, and taking chances and strictly enforcing prevention and control measures, so that our hard-won gains will not be lost. End of Part 16.